minutes, the first 15 minutes of my movement practice is a whole workout. Just so you know. Even 15 minutes. That's why I always say, like, you know, when folks talk about um, 5 minutes of working out, or 10 minutes, sometimes I sit back and I reflect, okay, I get a 5 minute, 10 minute workout. But as somebody that's been doing this for like several decades, first I think of your learning curve. That's number one. To make sure you are choosing, especially as a woman of childbearing years, especially as a woman in the next phase of life, even if I wasn't, quite often performing the movements effectively, usually that there are a lot of blind spots that are not happening. There are a lot of blind spots that are happening consistently, which are why we don't have sustainable results. And I would say several priorities that I'm looking for. One is sustainability. I don't want to be cute in my 20s and 30s, and then I can't manage my body composition in my golden years. That's ideal for me. I want the sustainability. Then, in order to stay injury-free, or should life happen, injury, fall, or the unexpected happen, I need my body to recover. So if I haven't learned a basic knowledge of corrective exercise, like the average person, especially women, life happens, you will stop, right? Between vacations, weekends, the flu, a fall, you just lost cumulatively a couple of years. And then what that does for you psychologically, you start to become, well, I might as well not do nothing. So all of this stuff adds up. So you, because I feel like, how come when I have women say like, I don't know how I let my body get like this, right? Or in particular, when I think of several high-performing corporate lawyer clients that are extremely successful in all areas of their life, I'm always looking at why do we self-sabotage, and the people that are self-actualized, especially when it comes to their personal health. What is the thought process? What is the pattern? And so I never forget, there was one time I had this lawyer, and every time we go past the mirror, she wouldn't look at herself. She was the most extreme. I've had this several times. And I was like, do you not like to work out in front of the mirror? She's like, no, I don't like to look at myself. And I was like, why? Because I'm always going to ask the question. I'm curious. I'm like, why not? She's like, I can't believe I let my body become like this. And when I would give her the stretch portion after, sometimes people would pay for a whole stretch session, or stretching was included in the warm-up. And she had to pull herself along onto the stretch table, and her body's a little bit more open after the stretch. She had to easily get herself off. And I'm like, wow, this is not an old person. So I'm constantly in the laboratory watching the different results. These are successful people. They've got everything, the houses, they're accomplishing their careers, got 2, 3, 2.5 degrees. But the body, I'm like, wow, you're accomplished, but you don't have your body. You have to, if this is you in your late 40s and early 50s, what is coming in your 60s, that's for me. That's what makes my eyes like this. If you're like this, and I'm seeing one person, I'm seeing breakfast, lunch, dinner. If this is what you're like, late 40s, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Right? Now, if I've got the population, also everybody's parents are constantly at the doctor's office. Constantly. Everybody's constantly taking pain medications. Then I'm saying, I hear this all the time, every day. Then I hear patterns as everybody's parents are starting to have more falls. Mine's having lots more falls, right? What happens to our lifespan when we get a big hip injury? Immediately. Quality of life, we taking it for granted, you being able to move, right? Now we're looking at Ronnie Coleman, Miss Olympia. So these things we're not thinking of, but the cognitive dissonance is not serving us. It's not serving us. So I'm wide-eyed. That's deep. That's the perfect example of cognitive dissonance. The truth of cognitive dissonance. The social media is magnifying the cognitive dissonance. We find it distasteful to not have makeup. Ooh, like remember they say you're not combing your hair. You're not gonna walk around like this with my hair like this straight. You know for a fact, I will be dragged through the streets. All the elders will be on my back, pulling me in the back room. Now you know, baby, you know we don't come out looking like that. You know better than that. I raised you better than that. I would not be going anywhere without uncombed hair. But when it comes to our physicality, being able to take care of ourselves, knowing that not everybody's the nicest to you when you're older. You don't know where your children are going to go if they're going to move away. Things happen to our spouses. Sometimes we don't like culturally to have these uncomfortable conversations. It's on us. I'm not going to say we must do anything. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're in an extremely vulnerable position. And you want to be able to make decisions for yourself, to advocate for yourself, to be as pain-free as possible, to not be dependent on these increasingly addictive, concentrated painkillers. If people were paying attention, the second half of your life, what it's looking like for the average American is going to be painkillers. If we're 70% of the population is unhealthily overweight, most of the population, including our children now, are tracking for diabetes. How diabetes is expressing with the progression. Type 3, progression of type 2 is dementia. Everybody's being encouraged to numb out and to get high on weed, which now has a concentration of cocaine. It ain't just getting you a little high. It's giving cocaine. Now fentanyl. I cannot keep up with the drugs. People are not paying attention, but there's the tendency for cognitive dissonance because of the denial. And I get it. It's almost like a trigger thing. We can't deal with the scariness of what's happening. The bombs, people robbing. I can't believe it. I tell you, I need a colonic in my eyes from social media. I'm seeing young children walk into stores with garbage bags and just raid the stores and steal like in broad daylight. Groups, I'm like, what planet am I on? Of course, the comments, many people are justifying it. So the devolving, devolution, whatever, of the average person, and everybody got a camera in somebody's face. So now, as a seasoned woman, and you're walking around observing this, what are you doing? Does it make sense for you to be unhealthy? Can that Coke, take a club soda, put some stevia, some lime in it, call it a day. Call it a day. If the blood sugar is out of whack, so I like to get to the root. If you're having cravings, let's keep it a buck this Thanksgiving, you're likely going to have issues with your brain, because that means, almost like a crack addict, we're going through the withdrawal. So if you're not managing your blood sugar, it's not for a lack of calories. Look at our midsection. There's not a lack of food. So when people say, I'm working out, I'm starving. Distinctions make it, it's not starving, your blood sugar is out of whack. And if your blood sugar has been out of whack for years, that means there's a blood sugar issue. If we're looking at the midsection, we're usually sugar dependent, right? That means the blood, your body, your pancreas are likely burnt out. There's too much glucose in the blood. You're either not producing insulin sufficiently, right? So the glucose is staying inside the blood. If the glucose stays too long in the blood, eventually that could turn to what? Diabetic coma. People are passing out, or you get the jitters. So it's not you have a lack of calories. This big blind spot. We do not have a lack of overall fuel in the tank. The quality of the fuel is a lot of fuel that is giving mixed signals, because there's no nutrition for your cells, nothing to fight cancer, vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B deficiency, magnesium deficiency, calcium deficiency, zinc, because it's not real food. It's been devitalized to the point all this nutrition is going out of it. No living water, so you're going to buy several $100s worth of makeup palettes and products, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. But there's no nutrition for your cells, right? There are different treatments that go through your skin, heart patches, cigarette patches. So why do we not think, I'm not telling people what to do, I'm not the makeup or the hair police, why do you think that the stuff that you're putting on your skin several times a day, all day, does not affect your cells? That does not make any sense. What do I know? When I say drink water and mind my business, I don't know if you know that Caribbean song. Drink water and mind my business.
I have two questions. One question, actually. Sunscreen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're told that we should put on sunscreen?
I think about this one all the time. I was just thinking of this one this morning, right? First of all, melanated. Number two, in my research with sunscreen, right? A lot of the sunscreen has toxic residue that's putting in your skin. The closest thing I have found to a sunscreen that's all natural, that you wouldn't be able to get all the time, because I like to look at what I can get locally in my environment, easily, sustainably, would be raspberry oil. Right? It's similar a little bit. The texture is light, like jojoba. That technically has an SPF, I think, of 30 to 35, which is pretty good, right? But I would also say in my research that I have noticed some folks that are vanilla that couldn't take the sun. When they changed their diet, most of them were raw vegan or raw vegan for several years, right? So they're big on unprocessed foods, did not get sunburned to the same degree. Now I wondered if that's the chlorophyll. We're thinking very topically, very superficially, right? You only think everything comes from the outside in. The same thing like we're eating healthier because we want to grow our hair. But it's an inside job. It's circulation. I'm slathering something on, but my lymph, my internal sewage is stagnant. It cannot get pumped unless I'm moving. So I would say also, if we look, just Grandma Lou style, right? Common sense, the crone woman's eyes. Not to say we can't get sunburn, right? That's also the environment. But usually, I don't hear anything about sunburn culturally, right? If I go African American, Caribbean, that's a recent thing. But those women always use castor oil, olive oil, and aloe, or whatever oils and herbs that they had. Now that being said, if we look at the African women, they use what? Shea butter.
Right.
And before that was cocoa butter. And as far as I know, their skin is glistening. That's not a conversation. Go and try to tell those average women in the bush about who in the sun, right? And our history, or the slave, if you look at the slave diaries, you ever hear anybody really talking about sunburn? I'm just saying. So as a precaution, the most natural I can find, because I don't want to leave toxic residue, would be raspberry oil. But also to me, I mean, it's not about being cheap. I don't like feeling overwhelmed, like I'm on a whole stroll with products. I can't do it. It's like I feel like I'm buying into the hype. So I put food on my face. The first place the food goes is in my mouth, and I live by that. My main product is the food that's coming inside. High amounts of greens, right? Then we have sprouts, we have lentils, sunflower, etc. Several sprouts. Circulation, right? Your elimination, right? Sleep for recovery, and then I would say raw shea butter, cocoa butter. I use olive oil and also avocado oil. I'm experimental with making my own avocado oil, right? But those are easy, sustainable. I could put a little teeny dry. I used to be scared to put oil on my face as someone that's had a tremendous amount of acne. So I was scared to put oil because I'm thinking oily skin, right? And I used to read about oil cleanses and using castor oil, also castor oil for breaking up tumors and cysts, which a lot of ladies have fibroids, right? We have buildup of all kinds of stuff, plus these perms. We don't want to think that the perms have anything to do with fibroids. That's another story. We're just defending, a BBL is natural, but you got to go under the knife and be put on it. Some people are dying, but it's natural. Okay, what do I know? But I'll take my chances, and one of my first mentors told me, if you can't eat it, it doesn't belong on your skin. So, it's not to say no chemicals are never going to come into play, because I will use, in a tropical environment, I will use diluted real Clorox. I use vinegar, I use baking soda, I use those things. I use peroxide, but I keep things to a minimum. A minimum. If I needed like a liquid Band-Aid, I'm always in the garden, I get cuts, I might use that periodically, but I want to keep the toxins coming in, which are going to affect my liver, to a minimum. So I would say shea butter, raw cocoa butter, that's what I use on my lips. I take the cocoa butter, which is ground with the cacao, the chocolate. Sometimes I go like that. It has a little bit, and I put it on my lips. And I would say the main chemicals, if I use anything, sometimes I play around with mascara, eyeliner, and maybe toenail polish. That's it. There are some non-toxic, there are least toxic nail polishes. They are definitely a lot more pricey. But I have invested in those. And most of the time, I just don't put anything. I put shea butter castor oil I put shea butter on my eyebrows, right? I don't squeeze them anymore because I think I'm not going to have them. I brush it up and go across, and I put the shea butter on my eyelashes. Because a lot of times I can't be bothered, and I find when my skin is moist from I just came out the shower and I put the shea butter, it makes me look like I have, people will ask me if I have false eyelashes.
Right.
So now I think on camera and social media, your eyes pop a little bit more. You look more like Betty Boop eyes if you have the stuff on. But most of the time, to be quite honest, I can't be bothered.
Right. I got you.
Sunscreen, I would say shea butter. When I researched the properties in it, and I used to work for a French company, right? Half of the company was an olive oil company. The other half is a very popular French brand. And they do a whole story around each thing that they source, if it's salt or if it's olive oil. And they had a big shea butter campaign. Actually, it's one of the main ingredient in their popular hand cream. It's a very popular, it's on Oprah's top list of things. And the pictures of all these women with the shea butter, their skin is glistening. Older women, their skin is, they're in the hot sun. And their hands are constantly in that oil. Just like our grandmothers, their hands are constantly making, remember liniment, all of that stuff you put on your chest, all different types of Vaseline, hair grease, lard, all types of greasy concoctions. Their hands are looking fantastic. Both of my great-grandmothers, their skin looked fantastic. In their 90s. And Grandma Lou always had her own skin. Never, I think ever, put a sunscreen on. Ever. But that being said, I would say shea butter, cocoa butter, and if you really want to get SPF, the closest I found is raspberry oil. Maybe a size like this is about $35. And at least I know it's not putting toxic substances, because it's like, you're supposed to be solving one problem, but you're giving me 5 other things. That somehow, call me simple, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Right.
I hope that answers your sunscreen. That's what I found in my research.
It does. I was actually asking for Jocelyn. She went. A friend of hers is an esthetician, and she went and had a facial done. So afterwards, she started breaking out, and so her friends was like, "Oh, your face is just kind of purging." And she said, "Yeah, I can see that it's purging now. It's kind of drying out." And her friend was like, "Get this moisturizer, get this. You know, you need to put sunscreen." She's like, I don't want to do all of those.
It's too much. It's too much. Yeah.
So she was like, sunscreen. And Jocelyn was like, "But I'm in the sun all the time. Like, I don't understand why do I need to put this product on my skin." So that's why I was asking. So I was like, well, if I give her, you know, she'll trust what you say, and then she can decide for herself what she wants. And she's like, "I don't want to put anything on."
It's like it's very fear based, and I mean, let's be honest. You're not gonna get through life without a wrinkle. So that's why I practice for myself. If I want to talk a spiritual practice, for me is radical self-acceptance. I'm in the garden all the time. I'm in the hot, it's hot. I'm in the hot sun. I have accepted I'm going to get wrinkles. I have breastfed. I'm okay. I am not putting prosthetics. I'm not going to put a medicine ball. I'm not putting a medicine ball in my chest. I'm not going to cut open. I'm not going to cut my areola and move it over here. I'm not doing it. Now, if my breast was all the way down here, which can happen to some women, then maybe, right? If I had a cleft in my lip, maybe, or something like that, right? If it's functional or something like that. If my breast is all the way down here, functionally, then I might, okay, that kind of loose skin. I know some folks like that. But there's nothing, my breast is healthy. There's nothing wrong with my breast. It's going through the phases of life. And actually, I put a video up on the YouTube channel in my community section. Sometimes I don't, but I was like, if nobody says anything. So in my research, it was about fillers today. Fillers were meant one time for quote-unquote more seasoned, older women. But now, with social media, girls in their 20s are getting fillers. And so it's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. It is making women look really, really hard. You see, Madonna, who I loved Madonna at one point. You see how that artificial look?
Yeah.
Right. It's giving that to, it's almost like breaking their face. It's breaking your face in your 20s because you, what the Jamaicans say, you follow fashion. You'll follow, and you're listening to people on social media in the comments, right? With the ego does what? The ego will take out the host every single time. So it's breaking young women's face when all you have, it's like, it's too much minutia, picking. Well, you can't take an imperfection. And then this is what's being sold to young women. Where you won't be, it's like the beauty has become a prison. It's a prison. You're never gonna let your partner or your husband see you with your natural. That doesn't make any sense. That's where we're getting like mental illness and everybody's saying, I love myself. I would turn down the volume and look at the behavior. But so Jocelyn, she's correct. It doesn't make sense. So these things out here are making you second guess your common sense. I'm out in the sun all the time. People are constantly like, aren't you gonna eat that whole avocado? Okay, I'm not suffering eating the whole avocado. It's real food that has water and fiber in it, right? If I'm just drinking oil and the oil that's been fried and refried, it's not the same thing. The two don't behave the same inside the body. So, okay, I'm not in my 20s, I'm not in my 30s, I'm not in my 40s. I'm okay, I can live with it. I'm going to age, my face is gonna drop, breasts are gonna drop, skin is gonna get a little loose. So I'll take a fit body, or the fittest I can have it, that is functional and pain-free, over 20 tons of Spanx, and not to make those things wrong, but it's just too much. It's like we just put it on to get in front of the camera. You don't even get a chance to engage with these people. Can you go out and play a softball game and jump some double dutch with all this stuff on? It feels too unnatural. So to me, my eye is a little different. I feel like I've trained, I actually like my eyebrows. I like my reflection. But it's like with the bodybuilding, right? When I did all natural bodybuilding, if you put me next to somebody that's on steroids, it's no comparison because it's not the same. It's going to give you a certain kind of look. Even if I took a little touch, there's ways to tweak the steroids, right? If I work with coaches, they say, would you be willing to take a little bit of something? No, as a principle for me, I'm not doing it. But I can put on muscle very easily. It's going to give me another kind of look. But that's not important to me, right? That's why I left that particular sport. Because I saw where it was going, and it's just not worth. I'm not cutting my breasts. I'm not bleaching my skin. I remember one time I did go tan because the coach. I was like, what the fuck? Why am I in the tanning booth? Hello? I don't like doing stuff that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I'm not participating with what's his name, TRUMP.
Thank you.
You had a second question? You had a second question?
Well, not a question. It's more of a comment. I have a co-worker who has been diagnosed. It's not autoimmune. Maybe it is. Like lupus. She's traits of lupus. Like she said, like 4 different autoimmune things. And nothing is full blown yet. And so she's like, I'm having these symptoms, blah blah blah. And so they get ready to start me. This is the way she described it. She said, I can't eat anything processed anymore. And then she's like, and they're gonna start me on this medicine. And so I'm sitting here thinking, diet first before you start the medicine, because even medicine to help her more so than the diet is almost like I'm gonna try.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in Bizarro's world. I feel like I'm in Bizarro's world. That doesn't make any sense.
I did share with her. I was like, listen, because the comments were, then I'm gonna start eating like Paul. There's a guy in my office who has a garden, and he always brings a salad, food from his garden. And then like Paul and like Tracy, and I was like, I went to her and I was like, she says something about inflammation, and I was like, do you like cucumbers? So she said, yeah. So I was like, yeah. A lot of cucumbers, a lot of tomatoes, they're anti-inflammatory. And I told her, I was like, when I first started it, it was a raw vegan challenge, and I did that, and I did not realize the amount of inflammation that was in my body. And eating this way took that away. And so I was kind of sharing that with her, and I'm thinking, but you get ready to start this medicine. Like, I couldn't tell her not to take the medicine.
Right.
I'm thinking.
But the fact that you you can't say that in 2023? The fact that you can't tell somebody eat. How do we get to a point where you can't say eat a cucumber and a tomato? So this is taking me back to a client told me, said, everybody's not extreme like you, and I was like, I'm eating an apple. How is eating an apple extreme? This is upside down.
Exactly. But at the same time, that same day, she brought in a pecan pie for the office to share with everybody.
I'm done.
So she's like, I love pecans, I love tomatoes. So she's eating what we are, all of us do, because I do it too. What we are doing is, like you said, doing a nod to healthy eating. More processed food we are eating, the natural food.
Bingo. Bingo, 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 bingo. So what my mentor say to me years ago? People that are, because we did 1 day fast, 3 day fast, 7 day, 14 day, 21 day, 42 day fast, and every now and then somebody would do a 100-day fast. She said a lot of people are not going to receive the benefits of these expensive cleansing kits because you're drinking the cleanse or the detox, but you're putting the slop on it, or you do the. I mean, if you really, to me, that's why I like the early morning hours. This is the hour of clarity. This is when you can hear voice of God. I would say your own common sense. There's a compass. There's an internal guidance system. It's too noisy, and we have been, people say programming, but we have been conditioned. We have a habitual conditioned way of thinking. We have a group way of thinking. It is what it is. That's what it is. It's real simple, but it's profound. So we're not even thinking very deeply. Genesis 1-9, if you went to the Bible, it said, before we got to Apostle Paul, when nobody could follow the rules, so they adjusted the Bible to the people. Big difference. But the first thing, to you I have given every fruit-bearing seed. To you it shall be for meat, and every herb, period. It's simple. That's the main thing inside that book that I got. And if people talk about Jesus, what do you think was Jesus eating? You ever seen an obese Jesus? Come on. The pastors looking like they got 2-3 babies, triplets in their stomach. Got a whole rag on their face. Can't get across the stage with all the theatrics. Falling out olive oil and Holy Ghost. And then we going to IHOP. Or we got trays of fried chicken. Come on. This is stop. It's cognitive dissonance. It is a lack of honesty. It's a lack of vulnerability. It's a lack of being present. It's a trigger response to fear, right? Because if you're honest, honesty means accountability. If you're honest, if you want to change, that means if you have a result, you will likely have to give something up. What your mindset, the way you justify your actions, right? Your whole body has a whole set of behaviors, actions, and you rationalize and justify everything that you do. So that means it's a thought process. If you don't think very deeply, that's another reason why your results don't last. Because you will justify putting a thing in your mouth that's going to give you the acne. Ask me how I know. You would justify, come on, let's keep it real. If you really observe, watch sometimes if you know you're not hungry. I don't care if it's raw pecans. Ask me how I know. And you're munching, you're going for the crunch. You're going for the self-soothing. And if you really listen, you can hear the It's a comfort, it's a self-soothing. It's connecting also to dopamine. But you're right there. You can watch your mind say, when you're clear, I don't need to be eating this. But it's on repeat. And you can keep doing that for the rest of your life if you never challenge it. In those moments, you are not present. You are in the movie screen of your mind, and you're soothing yourself in order not to deal with an emotion or a feeling or a sensation. So you're substituting it with another sensation. We've been conditioned that is usually pleasure in your mouth with salt, sugar, flavorings, and texture, or sensation in your loins, which lasts for a couple of seconds, that has a whole narrative around it. Let's be honest. Most women, if you research it, most women don't even have orgasms. And especially this climate, there's not a lot of care and concern and protection that goes with it. Something is wrong, but we're not challenging it. Because if you challenge it, you will have to be accountable. You will likely have to withdraw from something. That if you really were honest and if you were quiet, you actually have the information based on your results. But if you keep going with the narrative, I love myself, I love my, okay, what's the fruit? What is it? What's being shown in terms of all your love, right? But the narrative now, I get body positivity, but we are glorifying obesity. Sometimes, especially with the chocolate Afro community, we're getting big. Everybody's dancing and being performed. Look, we're in little boxes, dancing and doing a jig, and I'm watching people, they can barely move. And yes, you should enjoy your body. But the flip side is you are in crisis. Your stomach is this big. That you are inflamed. Your body's inflamed. Excess adipose tissue has a specific behavior in the body. It has a specific behavior. You are on track. It's for organ failure, dementia, high blood pressure. Your arteries are going to have to be propped open with a stent. Ask me how I know from clients that have had several stents to prop your heart open. Diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, amputation. That's what I've seen and cancer. So something is wrong, because it's like that's the flip side. It's like with all this sexy red and all this music. Okay, make some hip hop songs about STDs, right? The other day, I don't know if you were there, we were talking about 755% increase in congenital syphilis, 2022. That was almost eradicated at the turn of the century. And across every demographic, but in particular, Native Americans, Indigenous Alaskans, the biggest group, Black and Hispanic parents. 755%. Congenital, that means it's being passed on from the parents to the fetus. Hello? And the amounts of autism that we're having, you smoking weed, you drinking all day, you're depressed, you're in fight or flight all day, those are chemical responses. So why wouldn't our children be born with delayed and have their brains are compromised? The genetic, you're smoking and drinking, you're upset and depressed. The old time women knew that you keep the woman has to be happy. Then you're choosing people that you know don't have care for you, and you're bringing a child out of that. This is not rocket science, but we won't get quiet and get honest. So call me simple. 3 things: your movement practice is therapy. Peaceful consumption, food that loves you back. Garden or nature therapy, so you can trigger yourself into relaxation. That's what I got for you. Call me simple, but that's sustainable. That you can do if you got a little teeny apartment, no budget, no money for no gym. You ain't got to worry about your hair. It's simple, doable therapy you can apply to yourself that is going to sustain you till your hair is white. I'm looking for the longevity. I'm looking for the vitality. Things could happen, but I'm looking to be responsible for myself. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. You are going to suffer if you don't get clear, because there's a conflict of interest. You keep waiting on Obama, Jesus, and Trump, and everybody else, and Mary Magdalene to come save you. Good luck. Good luck. But I would get a mason jar with some water, 20 ounces. I would get me a little cheap exercise mat that I could spread in my house. I would plant 1 or 2 little herbs. I would take the seeds from any of my vegetables while they still have a little bit of seeds in them, put them in the ground. You have nothing to lose. Those are leverage activities. But sometimes I feel like people want me to tell them a secret protein powder. Sometimes I'm watching. Well, what do we do with this? And I'm like, wow, I just told them. I'm showing you. But people want me to give you a protein. It's like they don't believe it. If I don't give them a protein powder, if I don't have 20 tons of makeup palette on, it can't be that easy. No, it's simple. It's not necessarily easy because it's the consistent, your learning curve, right? Then once your body starts to get conditioned, now you have to amp it up, right? You're not just going to get fit and stay fit, right? Plus, we're behind. We're remedial, right? We're remedial on communication skills, remedial on health and fitness, right? We're thinking of it for aesthetics. This is not aesthetics that's a benefit. This is for mental resilience, right? And every time I went to self-defense last night, oh my gosh, it's such a I tell you, I go into nervous laughter sometimes because I'm dealing with a fighter. And sometimes when she goes for my neck, it's a shock. So, but it brings me to reality, oh my gosh, we are living in denial about the environment. You can be more comfortable when you have role play, when you're engaged. There's a whole set of information you will never have access to if you don't participate. You'll be on a whole stroke forever. Everybody's diet program. You'll be looking at the screen until you expire. If you don't pick something and you get into it, get on the field so you can at least learn what works and what doesn't work. But you're gonna need to move forever. Even if you modify, you will need a movement practice forever. You'll need to work out forever. You will likely need some type of community. I know everybody glorifies being alone. You will need community forever. You're gonna get sick and old, just like a baby. Man and woman, you're going to need somebody to wipe your backside like a baby. So that's what I'm saying. I'm wary of somebody telling me something that I can see. You're trying to give me a solution that's going to give me 5 to 10 more problems. Then you're not really my friend. You are not my friend.
Video with you that Jocelyn actually shared with me is really to after you, if you take a chance to listen to it, I like to talk about it.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Really good point in there that I think you would find interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love me some Jocelyn. I have a couple of flowers around me that have their head on, and give thanks for some people that just not following the massive crowd that can think for themselves. It's alarming. It's alarming with these kinds of numbers and stats. Even if you don't have stats, you can't see. I don't know how we stimulated and turned on by mistreatment, but that is also a trauma response. That's a trauma response, and it was many years ago, decades ago, in me researching that I found exercise is just as I will never forget coming across exercise is just as effective as psychotherapy. I said the people of grown-ups around me, they need therapy. So I was like, let me apply something to myself because I don't want to end up like these adults. Right? This is something I can do. If I need to, I can do it on my own. It gives me a sense of accomplishment, a sense of empower. I don't get that anywhere else. That and why do you get up early? Okay. There's a specific reason.
Yesterday, I thought I was too late, and I went back to sleep. When I woke up, it was like, oh, everybody's up. Now I gotta start running in the rat race like everybody else.
Yeah, you need a pause from the rat race. But I would say every time you have those snafus, you leverage them. A lot. Compassion, giving grace to yourself, I think is essential. Constant giving grace to yourself as you start to observe yourself and your patterns. So you can start to see with compassion, just like if you're a little girl, beating yourself down, it doesn't work. It's like beating our children to death. It has not produced the desired result. It hasn't. I'm looking for what's going to give me the desired result. So I want to cultivate awareness. So pressing pause and see like, wow, okay. I went back to sleep with the alarm. Wow, I wound right back up in the rat race. I didn't get my time for myself. I will be very resentful if I don't get my time for myself. I'm getting my time before I start dealing with clients or I still with people complaining or all this craziness on the internet. I'm going to get mine first. While I got my human suit, and it's enjoyable to me at this point. It's challenging, but it's I don't know any other place where I get this other than my movement practice, my garden, and nature is very specific. It's therapeutic that I'm getting, and from eating see when you've had enough food, you got enough nutrition. If you're still going for the food, then it's going to get very clear to you, wow, my blood sugar is out of whack. That's number one. And number two, I'm trying to fulfill something that has nothing to do with physical food, which is community, which is movement, right? Which is being present with your breath and your human suit. There is no pill for that. There is no pill. Even the other day I was doing some pull-ups at the park. I didn't feel like, I started doing something else and I lost my momentum. And it started raining. I was like, dang, because it's rainy season. I made myself put on my little crazy sneakers and go out there anyway. I got all muddied up. But just me keeping my integrity to myself and going out there to play, it shifted my whole mood. And then I had a new adventure. I couldn't find a pull-up station at this one park. So I put the band, the big body rubber band, and I had to climb up on the side. I managed to climb on the side where the swings at. Remember the swings you used to stand on and pump the swings? I managed to climb up on the side and get my thing. I mean, I could have thought it was scary, but that was an adventure for me to get my rubber band up on it and see how many pull-ups that I could do. So then I went around maybe 3 or 4 times, so maybe I did 3 or 4 sets of pull-ups, assisted. Right, so now I know I can make my own pull-up, but that's a mindset. Do you know what that does for me? Well, every time I do something like that, that's confidence. I will take that over a makeup palette that I gotta wash off. And now I feel dejected. Now this is the real me. Right, but I did that. Those 5 little pull-ups or 3, 4 pull-ups, 5 times running around the park, that's a boost of confidence. That's the thing that literally, who could take that away from me? I'm not an underwear model. I'm not in my 30s. I'm not walking on stage anymore. But that's something I did. That's something that I did that, right? So I can keep giving myself new experiences, right? It's therapeutic to have these types of experiences. So this is bigger than exercise. Exercise, some of the language we have is very one-dimensional. It's not speaking to the fullness of what you're getting. Even the snacks. The snacks is super, it's not speaking to, something is missing. That's why you can't get full. You will never get full. It will never satisfy you. It's never going to satisfy. You're always going to be hungry because it's not food. You're never going to be satisfied because it's not real life living on these screens. That's why it's so addictive. It's not real. This is not real. You call people your family. This is easy. You don't have to engage with anybody on the screen or social media. It's not real. So all this is ego-based and fear-based, and it's performative in front of a camera. Right? And you look at their comments. If you show your real face online, the comments are so cruel, but that's speaking to the projection of how people are feeling about themselves as being projected out. It's bananas out here. All right, so let's get this movement practice popping. Have my heart rate monitor charged up.
It's all you.
So this is our Thanksgiving edition. Let me stretch out mine. And so again, just one other thing, when thinking of our midsection or vanity, sometimes that's what I'm saying, the quiet moments are so revealing between 4 and 6 a.m. If you just walk around and you just quietly, not just think, reflect. Everybody is so on weight loss. And again, I'm not walking on stage. I'm not in gyms anymore. I'm 5'2". I'm 130 pounds, right? So when people are like, oh, you must be 110 pounds. No, and I'm not emaciated. I have my curves, I don't have any faux breasts. I don't even have any pads in it. This feels comfortable to me. But I'm 130 pounds. So in terms of composition, right? If I eat too many nuts, which is my nemesis, if I'm like on the screen and I have nuts, that's probably my Achilles heel, will be nuts. But if I eat a lot, if I get swollen, I'm like, that's inflammation. So it doesn't matter if it's raw vegan. If I eat that's inflammation. You're eating too much. So too much food is too much food. I'm not going to say an ego trip because I'm raw vegan. That's why I don't like to go only with the label. The label is just a distinction of what you would like to be served. If I'm eating too much, you're jacking up your liver, period. You can't handle too much food. My stomach is small. It's not just about, oh, I can't see my abs, which I can't see it as much, but more so functionally. If I eat too much, I feel sluggish. Raw vegan, let's keep it a buck. I feel sluggish, I don't feel as energized. If I'm munching, that is a trigger response on these screens, right? Social media, you're comparing yourself to everybody else. You start worrying. I don't know about you, but if you listen, you're worrying that something about social media is triggering worry. Constantly, I won't get chosen, I'm gonna be alone, it's dangerous, I'm gonna be attacked. That's gonna make you have nervous anxiety. So, it's deep enough where you're just going to have a trigger response or a mindless or an automatic response. It's simple. But if you have a lot of stuff around here that is visceral fat, is wrapping around your organs, if you have a lot of water retention and salt, because you're eating sugar, salt, fat, inflammation and swelling. Your organs your colon can't handle all of that, too much nuts or whatever. Your liver can't handle all of that. Your spleen, the very organs that are producing the hormones. Too much is too much. If you have face is very puffy, your body's talking to you all the time. Period. You see how simple that is? Do we need labels? So I don't care what you call yourself. I've been through every kind of quote-unquote diet modality. It's not the diet. If you're eating too much, you're eating too much. I also know around here, we don't deprive ourselves of nutrition. We're not doing that. Because the environment that we're in, we need all the greens and the chlorophyll we can get. We need movement to take all of that stress out of the body, and we need a physiological release. Period. I can sit and pray to make me feel good here, but I need a physiological release. I need a release. Women don't get a chance to quote-unquote train like a beast, right? That side to get aggression out. Then there's fluid movement, right? So you have fluidity in your spine. There's graceful movement. There's endurance type of movement so that you can challenge yourself. Those are all sensations. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening chemically and psychologically, right? Movement is medicine. Then you have quiet type movement, right? Isometric movement and holds that help you, like Vibhadrasana and the tree pose and the warrior pose, that help you to develop focus and concentration. So guess what? You need all the different types of movement. Just like those are vitamins, right? The little video that I put out the other day, I think I put it on, I don't know if I put it on TikTok or Instagram, but there was a Dr. Marie Claire that deals with, I might have mentioned it, she deals with menopausal patients right now, pretty much exclusively. And she said almost upwards of 100% of women are experiencing estrogen deprivation, right? And one of the things how it's expressed is dyslipidemia, which is high cholesterol. And she said 80% plus. She said they're not going outside. She said they're extremely severely vitamin D deficient. And she said they haven't changed their diet. They're not getting movement. She said they have not changed their diets and they're extremely vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D is the sun on your skin, right? You can keep thinking you're just going to take a pill. That's not how this is designed, you know. This was not designed. Everybody keep talking about God. You got a pill for everything. I'm sticking with Grandma Lou with the simplicity, with the common sense. I'm going to stick over there because those the women in their 90s, they were on to something with their simplicity. Eat your own food. They were very, very active. They wore their own hair. They were comfortable in their skin. My diet soda, Grandma, bless her, if she stayed alive any longer, they would have cut her feet off. She didn't have outlets. All she had was religion. And it wasn't enough to manage the stress. It wasn't enough to manage the stress. So then she got food, and it was cheaper food. And then chips. Well, she wasn't chips. I think sometimes Chinese food, but it was a lot of starch and soda. It was starch and soda, right? For fulfillment. When we're not fulfilled, we're going to keep, you'll be a bottomless pit. You're trying to fill it with starch. But it's emotional. You didn't get to dance. No gymnastics. No artwork. No touch. No safe touch. And because one of my friends wants to be 100 years old, so she's a swing dancer. She's like, she said, your generation, you don't touch. She said, you don't do the touch dance. She was like, I don't understand understand your problem. She said, we touch. She said, it was such a thing to be touched by a boy. What she's saying makes a lot of sense. Safe touch. And so also in my research, safe touch does something for you also. Right? It's something that you need. Now, the environment is not feeling very safe, but as a species, we feel better with touch. But it's being exploited and twisted into something else. Now we got medicine balls in our backsides, which is nuts. But that's a whole nother story. All right, so I got my heart rate monitor set for functional training. You got your heart rate monitor charged up?
Training started.
Right, so I can see my heart rate is at 43%. That's 70, that's expressed as 78 beats per minute. Let's grab the stick. Yeah, I'll take the longevity. We took hair off the table. I ain't worried about no hair. I could go in the gym, but I don't need no gym. Yeah, here we go. So let's start with tilting the pelvis under. Right, so belly button is drawn into the spine so we can get some lengthening in lower back. Deep core muscles behind the pubic bone, draw them up and in so they're nice and active. Open the arms, widen the shoulders. Let's take it back. So this is 1, 2, stretching out the chest and shoulders. 3, 4, good. 5, hold it back. Good again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold it back. So to counter all of the push-ups. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold it back. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it back. Good. Extend the stick right out in front of you. So we're taking those circular stretches. Take it around, chest and shoulders. Good. Round out your back. Check around. This is 2, 3, 4. Good. And 5. Opposite direction. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And 5. Put the stick down. Yeah. So standing kicks, belly button's drawn in. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And 1. You're going to grab your light ball, or you can add 1 dumbbell. Step, step, press. The pelvis is tucked under. So my dumbbell is 12 pounds, right? Or you can do the 10 pound, anywhere 8, 12, if you're just starting just your body weight. Step, step, press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, good, and 15. Woo. Standing kicks, number 2 on the diagonal. Woo. So kick it right up on the diagonal. 1, 2, keeping the arms high. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step, step, press. Belly button's pulled in. Press it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Place it down. Arm swing. So open up the chest and the shoulders. Cross across the chest. Throw it back. Cross and throw. Good. Swing the arms back. Reach for the ceiling. Good. External hip rotation. So hands up. Externally rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, good, and 15. So we're just going to add, reach your hips back. You're reaching the fingertips for the floor. Nice and easy, only for 10 reps. So reaching down, you can either come up on the balls of your feet, reach for the ceiling, or if you want to feel more comfortable, you can add a little baby hop. But you want to make sure you're extending all the way through your torso. Here we go. Reach it down, come up. 1, reach for the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, good, and 10. Internal rotation. Get the body nice and hot. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. You're going to sit and reach again. Re-engage belly button. Re-engage your deep core muscles up and in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo. Side kicks, working your obliques and glute medius. So ideally, seam of the pants is going parallel to the ceiling. Top part of the foot is making contact with your target. Use your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the knees to the chest. Little commercial break. Take your hips over to the wall. All the way up to the wall. Push forward. Squeeze the glutes so you can open up the hips. Hips over to the other wall. Now put your glutes on the back wall so you feel a stretch in the back of your hamstrings. Side, front, side and back. Side, front, side and back. Big hip circles. Put your thumbs behind your lower back so you can make sure you don't hyperextend or lean too far back. Opposite direction. Side, front, squeeze the glutes, open up the hips. Side, put your glutes on the back wall. Side, front, side, and back. Side, front, side, and back. Big hip circles. Take a moment. Hands go right behind the head. Belly button's pulled in. Keep your elbows open. Reach your hips back. So open your feet a little wider. So you feel that big stretch in the back of the legs. Keep the elbows open. And stand. Push your hips forward. Good. So these are your good mornings. Good. And stand. Good. And one knees to the chest. So you can release your back. External hip rotation, opposite side. Hands up. Let me make sure I don't kill myself with weight. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Here go those. Sit and then reach it up for 10. Nice and soft landing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. And 10. Woo. Shake it out. Internal rotation. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Sit it down, reach it up, belly button re-engage. Deep core muscles, draw them up and in. So you're supporting your lower spine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Shake it out. Side kicks, working your obliques and glute medius. Listen to your breath. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit, reach it up, belly button's drawn in. Heart rate is at 81%. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Woo. Take a nice sip of water. Body should be getting nice and hot. Woo. So natural bodies matter over here. So we're going to take step press, superset it with the swing. So you can use either your medicine ball or 2 water bottles. I'm going to use my 2 12s. So you can use 2 8s to start. If that feels easy, then you can graduate up to the 2 10s. But if you're just starting, I could even go here. Or I can add the medicine ball or the 2 light water bottles. So I'm going to grab my weights. Make sure you're bending your knees, pulling your stomach muscles in when you pick up your weights, because that's one of the areas where people jack themselves up. So hip hinge, kettlebell swing, dumbbell swing, same thing. My palms are facing each other. I make sure my wrist is nice and straight.
You are burning fat.
Belly button's pulled in, so make sure you squeeze your glutes so the hips open all the way up, right? And your arms are to come a little bit higher than the shoulder. I'm not going all the way up here. My arms are going to swing. The momentum is going to bring the resistance up a little bit higher than shoulder height. Make sure you're using your breath. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, carefully place one weight down. I'm going to keep 112 for the step press, or you can keep 110 or 18, or you can just use your body weight. Belly button's drawn in. Step press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, good, and 15. Woo. I'm going to add a little bit of core into the cycle. Woo. So coming down to the flail. So you can, if you have your sliders, you can use your sliders, or you can just do your body weight. If you're just starting, you would just do the basic mountain climber. Your progression, though, would be with the slider, so you can do the slider. If you're a beginner, I would say just your basic mountain climber. So the basic, level 1, tucking the hips under, tap your toes, bring the knee to the chest, so you're getting a stretch in your lower back. Level 2 would be full extension. Make sure your butt is not in the air. Right? Tap, tap. And we're going to take the next progression for you is going to be with your sliders. Make sure you're pressing your hands into the floor. You're not sinking down and your chin is drawn in so your neck is nice and long. Extend. Use your breath, knee to chest. 1, 1, 2. Hold on. 2. Pick it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You going through on tempo. 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo! So you're working your hip flexors in the front of the thigh. Get the core nice and activated. Now, let's say we are 16 minutes in. So right there, that could be like a whole workout, right? So sometimes people like 5, 10 minutes, if you're just getting started and you don't understand what you're doing, I don't understand how you get a whole lot in 5 or 10 minutes. But hey, what do I know, right? So let's go back to the swing. Woo. Belly button's drawn in. Reach your hips back, flat back. Drive it up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, squeeze the glutes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Carefully place one weight down. Woo. Step press. Tuck your pelvis under. So you're supporting your spine. Draw your deep core muscles in and up. Listen to your breath. There we go. Step press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Adios mia. Woo. So we're going back to core. So we're in New Year's season. So 3 to 4 cycles, right? For each super or giant set, or each circuit of movement patterns, 3 to 4, right? Because we don't wait for New Year's Eve. We're already in the holiday, whatever, what do you want to call it, season of excuses and setbacks. So spread the fingertips, tuck the pelvis under, press the hands into the floor. You want your scapula to the skin, joints are stacked. Take your appropriate level, set it up, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh my God. 2 down, 2 to go. My heart rate, though, is only at 75%. So even though my heart has gotten more conditioned, I can still feel myself working. So another blind spot for women, you don't realize when your body has adapted to the movement pattern. Whew. This is number 3. 3 out of 4. Down into your breath so you're nice and grounded in your body. Listen to your inhale and exhale. Here come your swings. Belly button's drawn in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So, I'm going to progress. I need a little bit heavier for that weight. So it's challenging. So I feel myself nice and warm. Let's get. I always feel like I'm going to regret it, but I know I don't want to coast. So hold on, let me wrap my mind around it. Hold on. So the same step press. So you can either stay there or you can graduate. It's up to you. If you feel like you're working at a 10, then you stay right there. If you feel like you're working at a 6, 7, then it will be time to progress. Let me wrap my mind around it. Okay. So this one is 20. Step press. Here we go. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh gosh. Woo. Oh, Dios mío. Mountain climber. Set it up. Okay, now that got my heart rate up from 70 something to like 80%. Coming down again. Nice deep breath. So you want to hear your inhale and your exhale. Set it up, go for good form. Your joints are lined up. Tuck your pelvis under. Belly button is into the spine. Take your appropriate level. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Ah, Dios mío. 3 down. Oh my gosh. 1 to go. 22 minutes in. Woo. Take a sip of agua fria. Woo. Now intensity does make a difference. You want safe but intense. Carve for a minute. Lift the knees to the chest. Release your back if you need to. Let's take the legs out to the side. Always opening up the hips. Let's take the legs back. So your glutes are bringing your legs back. Take it back. The glute is lifting the leg back. Go out to the side again. Knees to chest. Last one is the best one. And we'll finish off. This is efficient. This is only 23 minutes in. Feels like a full workout. But then, this is the Thanksgiving movement practice. All right, number 4. Let's take a Harriet Tubman. The last one's always for Harriet Tubman, Viola, and Angela Bassett. Wrap your mind around it. Go for perfect form. Be grounded in your body. Use your breath. Here we go. Swing it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Place the weights down carefully, or whatever your resistance is. Hold on, my hands are sweaty. Just wipe this off. Step, step, press. Oh, the floor is wet. Okay. Last one is the best one. So, by adding this weight, I got cardio, I got arms, I got core, I got shoulders, all in one nice little fruit roll up. Step, step, press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh gosh. Woo! Woo! 83%. Good, nice form. Scale of 1 to 10. Woo, how hard you working? Woo, so let's finish that off. We got another dynamic mountain climber. Either take basic or take the progression. Grab the sliders. New Year's is upon us, so we got our hangs. We have full body bridge. Push-ups. So we have to complete. So I know we had a little time off. But we're looking to get up. We're striving for 50 for the push-up. I'm just telling you where we're going in advance. All right, so last set is the best. Spread your fingertips. Tuck your hips under. Belly button's drawn into your spine. Ooh, dripping all over the floor. Use your breath. Ready? Here we go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh gosh. Woo. Oh gosh. Let's finish off the warm up with a little bit of jump rope, and then we'll officially be warm. Then we can get a little more strength. Woo. But my heart rate, my recovery heart rate, is coming down faster. So grab your rope, or if you didn't have the ropes, you would do the 2 dish towels. Heart rate is already down, 76%. So if you're working on a coordination, listen to your inhale and exhale. So modification will be right here. I'm going to take the first set. Right here. Yeah, so just basic up and down. Knees up. Or you have basic jump. Is right here. Rotating. Breathe deep. Good, and pause. Plank step so you can open up the hips. So again, tabletop position. Woo. Stay in tabletop position. Level 1, stay in tabletop, tuck the hips under. Right foot is stepping to the outside of the right hand. Come back down center. Left foot, stepping to the outside of the left hand, back to center. Level 2, full extension. Right foot steps outside. That back heel is pushed towards the back wall, center. Left foot steps outside, the left hand, back to center. This is 3. Try to keep your butt out of the air. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, hold 10, hold 10. Push that back heel towards the back wall, really feel that stretch in the hip. Step center, other side. Push that heel towards the back wall, opening up the hips. Here comes jump rope number 2. Woo. Nice and efficient. Ready? Only got 3 cycles. So basic jump. Yeah. Basic jump. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Plank step again. Woo. Now let's finish it off. Plank step. Spread the fingertips. Tuck your hips under. Press your hands into the floor. Take your appropriate level if you're on your knees or full extension. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, and 10. Coming right up. One more rope. Woo. So this is roughly like a 30-minute.
The rotations on the other side.
On the leg? Okay, so hold on, let's take the last rope. Thank you. Woo. Getting excited. I don't want to be unbalanced walking out in the street. Last set of rope. So the modification just with the 2 dish towels. Belly button is drawn in and up. So if somebody was kicking us, if we're loose here, you're going to get knocked over. So that's why you engage also to protect your spine. Here we go. You can either do basic jump, or once you're more comfortable, start to bring your knees up in a row. Breathe nice and deep. Whew. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh gosh. Last plank step. Heart rate got up to 80%. Spread the fingertips. Tuck the hips under. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10. Oh gosh. And 10. Oh gosh. So what do we leave out? Just the external hip rotation? Woo, on the left side. The whole side. I could have sworn we did kicks on both sides. We did kicks, but we didn't do the external hip rotation.
We did the external, internal.
Okay. Yes. All right, so we're not unbalanced. All right, so hands up. I could have sworn we did. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Internal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. But side kicks, yes. Woo! All right, now that's part 1 is down. Get some water, recover, and then we can get into our strength. Woo! Oh my gosh, water tastes so good. Lift the knees to the chest. Oh, great, great day.